Hello!
Hi!
Hey, season whatever, 2. And we're on episode 11, and we're talking today about, are you the biggest bully in your life?
It's a big one, actually.
It's a big one.
The other week, we went to a workshop, 2-day workshop. We were working on the inner child, and oh boy.
That was good.
I was really good, but what I realized is that this talk, self-talk we're doing sometimes is not doing us any favor. And sometimes it helps us to move forward, becomes a better version of ourselves, but quite often it works quite opposite.
We're straight into it today, aren't we, eh?
We are.
No messing around.
No.
So, yeah, but I think we all we all get caught in different things that can, sometimes I let things play over in my head. And it's just like pretty much bullying ourselves, aren't we, when these things are happening, or we're putting ourselves down, we're saying we've got negative thoughts that go against us. So,
well, that was actually quite interesting because I've never explained that to myself in that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was aware of negative self-talk, etc., but I never labeled it as a bully, like an inner bully.
No, definitely.
And what I realized, especially during that weekend workshop we went to, that those things from the past that I have some scars, just over my soul. I was blaming, well, maybe not blaming, but I realized that people who wronged me or mistreated me at the time, and I accepted, as my inner truth.
Yeah.
Those patterns, patterns, that's the word I'm gonna use, was something that was created at the time, but then as I grew up, I started practicing it myself. So who really did this to me? It wasn't them anymore, it was myself.
Yeah.
And I realized that the bully from the past who taught me to, was telling me how worthy I am or how unworthy I am at the time, who is gone, is still alive in me, only because I kept practicing the same thing over and over. So I've created this self-limiting belief about myself and how I treat myself, which is very counterproductive with everything what I want to achieve in life, right? So, wow, that was a big eye-opener for me. I've realized that I've been bullying myself for such a long time. And what I mean by that is I always had this belief that I have to be perfect.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't perfect, then it meant that I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
So it was really eroding my self-worth, belief that I'm worthy of something, and kept pushing me towards proving everybody in the whole world my worthiness. And if I wasn't performing well enough, I was kicking my own butt. So it wasn't about the external world and perfection. It was about how I treated myself all the time.
But ultimately, so if in any sense or form that someone is bullying us or we feel victimized by someone, if we're going to listen to it and start believing it, then we are actually the person that's bullying ourselves.
100%.
So people can say whatever, but if we're going to agree with that and getting caught up in, I don't know, alternate realities, and we start believing that as well, and we become the biggest bully in our lives. I think everyone must go for it. Everyone definitely goes for that.
Yes,
definitely.
100%.
There's always something, isn't it? Even if it's just, oh, this happened, and you're playing it over, how could you have done it better, or you feel guilty or shameful, or feel like, oh, I could have done it better. You're just bullying yourself because you're staying in that environment. I know we're kind of talking about maybe sort of kind of two different things here, but if you're gonna stay in something that's gone, you're still bullying yourself with it. And how a bully system works is that if they've got a spectator, that bully, it's giving them more power. So by staying in it, you're giving that bully, whether it be yourself, something, a child or a chimp or whatever's within, you're just giving it more and more power by staying there and continuing to practice that behavior. So for teaching I mean, we're going to give some tips in a minute, but just one just popped in my head. It's acts of kindness. So you need to be kind to yourself. You just forgive and let go and think, well, you know, that was then, this is now, and this is me going forward. This is what I want. But that's the way to defeat bullying, is acts of kindness. But it's as always, it starts with ourselves. The bullying starts with ourselves, and I think it's quite an empowering thing to understand that, because even if you are being, you know, in a bullying situation or an abusive situation now, it's like you've got some power. You've still got that power to say, you know, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to step away, and I am in control.
Well, this is quite interesting, because I'm going to share my
I'll write off on one now.
No, it's actually a good one, because what I want to say is this. We know that you can kill bullying with kindness, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely understand and accept this concept. But I also find that when you understand how it works, it's so much easier to do it to other rather than towards yourself. We are extremely critical towards ourselves.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go and practice the new way of thinking, with more ease when it comes to third person, rather than applying it to yourself. Me personally, I can raise both hands. I've been like this.
Yeah.
I could, be much nicer, more understanding, more supportive, kinder, to the third person, because this is who I am, right? I love being that way. But still, if it comes to me, I was so much more critical. I was.
Yeah.
Because obviously, this is the tips that we're going to be starting to give out in a second. What helped me is becoming more self-aware with what am I doing to myself, and understanding what am I doing to myself. And this last weekend workshop, just changing the lingo and description of what it was going on inside, in my inner world, helped me to click in such a powerful way. I've just realized what I've been doing to myself all along,
It's amazing how often in life we can sabotage ourselves.
And sometimes we don't even realize.
No, I don't.
So this realization comes from the observation, observing ourselves, observing what sort of outcome we are getting. Because if we're not getting the results we want, obviously something is going on, right? And it's not like must be some massive drama behind the scene. It could be a small thing that just needs tweaking, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And for me, this tweak happened, just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When I just changed this negative self talk into word inner bully.
So do you think with that, because this just made me think, I mean, obviously it takes work. Everything takes work. Saying some of the tips in a minute. Do you think you got a little bit more clarity? Was it easier for you to see that from a lot of the work you've been doing on yourself over the years?
That was massive eye opener. Like, I get it now.
Yeah.
And I've been teaching, just other people, the same concept, obviously dressed up in a different lingo, different language. But you know what it's like when you're listening to different coaches, and every coach needs a coach. Let's be,
Well, that's what I mean. That's the whole point of us coaching, is that we're always being coached. We're looking for the next thing to help us, to help others, right?
Yes. What I'm leading to is this, that let's say you might have a bunch of coaches that are teaching the same thing, right? What makes them different is the way of how they are delivering the message.
Of course, yeah.
And even though they are talking about the same thing, they might be using different wording that will make massive difference. Someone will go and resonate with this person more than the other person.
Maybe that. Sorry to interrupt, but maybe it is that. But sometimes you need to hear it a few more times anyway. So you probably have heard it. It's a bit like when we've done, like martial arts training. You've been any coach actually. Generally, the coach is saying the same thing over and over. There'll be something that's always said, because our brains will like. A bit like watching a movie. You watch it again and you see something different. That's the same movie. That's not anyone else doing it differently.
I get it.
So
I get it. My point
but
is,
you're right as well.
It could be repetition.
Yeah.
So you need the time to click right? Or you just need a different lingo, different form of description of what is going on, so you finally get it. And that's exactly what happened for me.
The universe is putting it there.
Well, it happened for a reason.
She's still not getting it, or he's still not getting it.
And this is the thing, you see, guys. You know, I've been coaching for quite some time, and the truth is that even when you become a coach, you're still working on your own shit. You know.
Yeah, always.
But you own it, and I do believe that this is something what makes us even more powerful at what we do.
Yeah.
Because we are honest, we can be vulnerable, and we've been there, so we know what it's like to be there, right? We just might be one step ahead of people who we're working with. That's all it takes to be a coach. But compassion. This is a very important thing. You know, we have compassion towards the others, and I am learning every single day about compassion towards myself, because my inner critic, you know, is becoming less powerful, but it's still there, you know. And we've mentioned we were talking about the transition period when you're changing the habits, whether this is doing something like in a physical way or even in a way of thinking. The transition period is a mixture of both old type of thinking or doing and a new type of thinking and doing. And it's just things that you want to change to something better will still be appearing. So how we're dealing with when it's appearing is very important. That what helps us, you know, to stay on track. And for me, we're gonna give you some tips about that. What helps me a lot is having a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And just laughing at myself. Because if I don't laugh it off, I'm gonna become serious. And when I become serious, I become more rigid. And when I become more rigid, I am just, again, you know, using it against myself. So it's a vicious circle.
Yeah.
And to break the circle, you have to do something different.
Yeah.
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 And I think we're gonna get to tips,
because I think you just went into it, right?
Right. So
if we're basically, I think we've established we'll probably all go through this, whether it be putting ourselves down, not feeling good enough, not feeling like all these negative. The emotions are there. You got to understand them. So they're sort of negative, but not. So you have to understand why they're there and where it's come from. But you can switch it around. And a lot of time it's, well, we're either stressing about something that's happened that's gone. And I know I can make it sound so easy, but I have to do that for me. So, because we're all human, I'm always stressing about something that's in the future, and we've got some tips for that as well. So there's some great tools that we can use, and with these tips, great if you can work them all today in one go, well done. But even if you can just pick one today and just think, right, that's the one I'm going to work. And you can come back to the video anytime or just shout us up. But at least pick one, commit yourself. Say, right, I'm going to take one, and that's the one I'm going to run with today, because I feel this one it resonates with me a lot right now, and I'm going to commit to this one thing, and I'm going to make a change, and then let us know how you get on always. So there's some tips to kind of defeat that negative chatter in our head or negative feelings, where we bully ourselves. So some acts of kindness on ourselves. Tip number 1, please, Ange.
Tip number 1, become more self-aware. So start observing yourself. What sort of words are you using towards yourself? You know, and I'll give you, a few examples. Do you often or sometimes say to yourself, I should have known better? Or, for example, I'm an idiot. What an idiot. I'm stupid. I'm fat. I'm ugly. You know, many people are using this kind of terms towards
I wouldn't
themselves.
be able to do that. I'm not confident enough for this. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Yeah.
And you might be thinking that this is not type of words you would consider as a practice as in a self-bullying. But it really is. And what I mean by that is because it's stopping you from going and doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's eroding your self-belief and self-worth.
It is. I think my instructor, Stephen Thompson, would call that mummy love.
Mummy love?
Yeah, because it makes you feel a bit warm and fuzzy inside. It's like, well, now I don't have to do it because I just told myself I can't, so I feel all right now.
Yeah.
Instead, we need some tough loving sometimes. Say, well, no, come on, let's get off our backsides and get the job done. Went off on one.
Yeah, as usual. That's quite normal.
Yeah.
This is something what we need to be aware of, and I put it down here in my notes because that was big eye opener for me.
It was true. When you notice it, you notice it more. And I've talked with the kids.
Yeah.
And said, and you've been holding me accountable with it as well. I think each other, and same with the boys. My boys, they're noticing things, so they're really thinking about it, and we're all like thinking about it. So it's nice if you've got people around you who can help with that. And then you do start to think differently, and those negative thoughts, they don't stay there. They start to go much quicker because they do come in. They pop in. We can't help it.
We have a choice, right? Yeah. This is it. You can always switch.
Switching it out.
So this is something what I'm actually gonna squeeze in because it's really important to mention. I wrote it like this: we are not responsible for what we are programmed with, and what I mean by that. By the age of 8, we are like playing record, and we absorb all of the information from the surrounding and accept as our own. Okay, so whatever our family believes in, teachers, peers, friends, you name it, it really has massive impact on us. And it's not exactly what they are saying, is how we perceive it. Okay, so we absorb it, and then as we develop and we grow, what is happening? We start practicing it. So we are not responsible for what we are programmed with, but we are definitely responsible for practicing what we are programmed with. So if this is programming that is in any way holding you back, good news are that you can change that programming, right? But you have to know how, and it requires practice. But this is something what I said to you the other day. When it comes to habit, because how we talk to ourselves is a habit. If we want to change our habits, and this is quite interesting, people think that they will practice something for 30 days and that's it, that's enough. And I think this is wrong way of thinking, because if you've been practicing, this negative self-talk since you were a kid, every single day, why do you put the time on a new habit? If you want to create a new habit in your life, which is supposed to be part of your life for the rest of your life, don't think in terms of 30 days, 60 days. You just keep practicing consciously those new patterns that you won't make your truth. And that way, that way you will change your life. But it requires practice every single day and conscious choice, how you want your life to be, how you want to be for yourself and with everybody else, who you want to be in the world, right? Perfect. So that's one of the tips. Now,
tip 1. Tip 2:
change the pattern.
Change the pattern, or a pattern interrupt. We used to do this a lot. I still do it when I'm teaching classes. Because people may be getting a bit tired, and you can see it on their faces, or something's creeping in. So we put in a little pattern interrupt, just stop from what they're doing for a little bit, just get them a chance to catch their breath. Sometimes you might put an exercise in though, even though they're doing an exercise, whatever. And then there's another pattern interrupt. Then get them to stop, catch their breath, say some words of wisdom, and then straight away you can almost very often. Most often you see the energy change throughout the room. So if you find, basically what I'm getting at is when you get into a point where, if you're having these limiting beliefs or something's crept in your head and it's stayed a bit long, and we know when long is long, I'd say 10-15 minutes is long. If it's going beyond there, stop what you're doing and go and do something else. Just 20 minutes, well, you're either going to waste more time going over this thing at whatever it is, thinking about it, or you can get out and change what you're doing. Because sometimes you think, but I got work to do, but you're trying to do work whilst this freaking thing going on in your head, or you're not getting work done anyway. So you might as well stop what you're doing. It's going to be more productive for you. A little bit sharp, like sharpening the saw before you cut the tree down, right? And whether it be for a walk or getting out and about, you will feel better. You may not feel 100%, but you will feel better for it. That's worked like quite a lot recently for me as well. Just to stop the noise. Right, let's get out. And actually, how has helped me. I've got more creative. I've gone out, gone for a walk up the hill or whatever, and different things. Well, I've got different ideas now, so I'm able to shut the noise off, change my environment a little bit, and just get myself moving. And then, yeah, I'll say I've always felt better. Maybe not always 100% better, but I felt better. I was able just to stop that. So a pattern interrupt is perfect, especially if you've got great for us. We can get out, share a walk. But I think if you've got someone you can trust and do that with, because you try and talk about something else than whatever it is you're talking about. Sometimes we need to upload, that's okay. But staying in there, as I said, staying in that, you're just giving more power to the negativity of it. One thing I've really learned, I think years ago, I would stay too much in that negative world or reality, and lo and behold, I stayed there longer probably because of it. And then more, it'd be like something else and something else.
So that's how my hair fell out. By changing environment, making this conscious choice of going and doing something actively with it helps you. It means that you're changing your vibration.
Yeah.
And when you're changing your vibration, you have, I'm talking about, improving it, just going towards, what feels better. You automatically have access to better thoughts, more positive thoughts. Because when you're staying in that limbo, and you feel down, that environment is full of self-negative talk.
It is. And do you know what? Actually, you find yourself not getting pulled into... You're stepping away from that stuff. So I think when you're in a negative mindset, it's easy to get pulled into negative chatter with other people. Yes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Stuff. So when you step away from that and you start practicing it more, you find that it's more positive conversations with people around you, and people actually, they start to notice it.
But again, everything starts with a decision, way, right? Yeah. You're deciding to change how you feel, and going and doing something about it. And it doesn't take long. It's literally sometimes as little as 15 minutes. Just to change the way you feel about yourself. So many people, or so many fantastic coaches in the world, they talk about it, extensively. And even Tony Robbins, he's doing lymphatics, and he just keeps jumping on a little trampoline to improve the way of thinking, because he knows if you change the state of the body, you automatically change the state of the mind.
Motion leads to emotion.
Exactly. Or for example, Louise Hay, I remember when I was listening to her, she was saying on many occasions, when she was catching herself thinking about something negative, something what wasn't beneficial for her, she was automatically switching her thinking to yellow roses. She loved yellow roses, and she was thinking, I love yellow roses, this kind of roses, why I do like this kind of roses. So she was choosing to think about something what was making her feel happy. And by doing it for a couple of minutes, she was changing the state of the mind she was in. And then obviously automatically she had more access to those positive thoughts that were beneficial for her, right? So we all can do that. You can pick something that you always feel good about. And if you find yourself thinking about something negative, or you find, just belittling yourself in any way, or something is really troubling you, when you realize this, just switch your thought. So that's the pattern interrupt. Think about something. It doesn't have to relate to what you've been just thinking a second ago, but something that every single time you think about makes you smile. Some people will say, this is my pet, this is my dog. Some people will say, this is me doing, I don't know, cycling or whatever. Everybody has something. Or like Louise Hay, in her yellow roses. It doesn't matter how big or small. If you just implement this and you give yourself this a little bit of time and chance to find out how powerful this is, you will see that your mood and attitude changes, and your inner critic, inner language is changing too, because you're feeling different. Okay, so that's another tip. Next tip is laugh when you catch yourself doing it again. be easier about it. So this is pretty much, beautifully linking with what we just said a second ago. Just laugh, just have that,
be silly.
Be silly. What they go, here we go again. I'm thinking the same thing.
And when you mess up, just laugh about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's the opposite, isn't it? So,
like and laughter raises your energy as well.
Definitely. So you, if you're doing you probably do this one with all of them actually. So pick a tip, but you can include this on all the other tips. So if you're doing the first one of the, being aware of the negative language. So when the boys say something to me, as that example, like, oh yeah, okay, have a little laugh about it. And the same with a pattern into it. A great pattern into it would be to just, let's just get out. Let's just be daft. Let's just mess about. Make a funny video. I don't know, whatever it is. Get some, if it's warmer, get some super soakers and just squirt water each other. Just something daft. Just have fun. That's the most important one. It's an important one.
It is important.
They're all important, but yeah. And again, it's that emotion changes. If you can't get out for the right reason, then put a comedy on. Put a really good comedy on. Just to shut your head off. Or
just to read a book that is positive.
Yeah.
That's what I do like doing.
Yeah, yeah. But laughter's a good one.
Yes. So next one, this is something what we need to become aware of. If it was easy, if any change was easy, everybody would do it. Okay, it takes conscious effort. It takes practice. But this is one of the subject of one of my TikToks I was talking about. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But the thing is, you see, when things are easy, they don't train your character. Okay, you're just staying the way you are because it's easy. It's just offered on the golden plate and that's it. But if you have this desire to become a better version of yourself, grow in some way, you have to push through the hard. And the best thing is, the best part of it is that with practice, the hard becomes easy. But that easy is satisfying. It's deeply satisfying because you feel like you've achieved something and you did what you said you would, So there is an immense amount of satisfaction coming through it. So don't be scared of challenging yourself, pushing through, because you are more powerful than you think. You're really more powerful than you think, and you can make changes to your life, and any changes you want, So
I'm just going to
keep pushing through.
Add on to that a little bit. On. So because, like you said, if it's easy, everyone would be doing it. Life is hard sometimes. So, but life is life. But it's not to dwell on that, right? So that's why celebrate those little wins. Celebrate. And if you're working on something big, no matter what the outcome is, still celebrate. But that's really, really important because we sometimes with social media, I think we get so caught up in what everyone else is doing and everyone's celebrating big wins and that's fantastic. But maybe don't let that dim anything what you're doing, because whatever you've just won at, it's not big, it's not small. It's a win. A win is a win. It's not a small win, put it that way. There's no such thing as a small win. If you've accomplished, well, actually I got through this week and I had such a positive week, that's a win. So, but learn to look for it's gratitude. It's the same thing. It's being grateful for the things you have in and around in your life. So yeah, look for the wins as well within that one. So
this thank you very much for mentioning this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Like you said, just everybody's looking on social media and they just compete and compare and they think, oh gosh, those people are achieving such a great things. I'm not good enough.
Yeah,
can you see how those things are really really spiral? Just the self-negative, talk. And the reality is, like you said, it's not about the goal. It's not about the target. It's about the effort. And the effort is something what needs to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And you know what? Just let people be whoever they are and whatever they are achieving. This is their personal thing. What I want you to emphasize on and focus on is just how you can change your life, yourself. Your life, not anybody else's life, your own life, so you feel better about yourself. And those little changes, those little tweaks that really impacting your life in a good way, they will be the snowball effect, because you will start with those little ones and your belief and trust in yourself will start growing. So obviously then you're gonna be ready for the bigger task, so to speak, and the bigger task, but there is no time frame for it. Everybody is on their own cycle, so let them do their own thing. And even if they are doing big things right now, you don't know how long they've been working on the small stuff.
Maybe
right?
get in touch with them. You never know.
Yeah.
If there's something along your line, most people I know people in my network, if they're doing something big, they want to help others. So I'd imagine it's the same for your network too, right? So if they don't worry, it'll be someone else.
And again, this is also worth mentioning. Every coin has two sides, or maybe even three. If you're looking at someone and you think they are much better because they are achieving those big things and that spiral the negative self-talk, don't look at them. But if there is someone who is inspiring you to become a better version yourself, then look at them. Everything what makes you feel better.
Don't stay too long, now they might.
No. But we are all humans, right? Yeah. And we have the same abilities, believe it or not.
All right.
Right.
What's our next tip? Meditate. You taught me this, and it's definitely worked. Is before you do anything in the morning, well, first get up, obviously, but don't check that phone. Don't check the news. It's gonna mess you up. That's what I said in my TikTok. So, yeah, it's gonna mess you up because you might want to check a message. You'll see it there, or whatever, or there's something on the news feed on Facebook, or whatever in social media you consume, even if you're checking an email. So meditate is just, control your mind, basically. It's self-defense for the mind. So you're basically preparing, trying to set yourself up for a good day before you do anything else. Yeah, I know that there might be annoying or horrible email message, whatever, that might be there. But better to get your head right before you go checking it out. And then start the day right, and then you can really visualize the day that you are going to have. So there's always something that might knock us, but remember, we are in control. Well, there's two ways of looking at it. You can either let 90% of life control you, which means you've only got control of 10%. That doesn't really sound like a lot of fun to me. Or you can control 90%, and then there's just 10% that just comes along. We have no control over it, but we control how we feel about it. So self-defense for the mind is start your day right. Be aware of what you're consuming, how you're consuming it. I'm kind of going to go off on one a little bit, but even things, if you're like a business, or it doesn't really matter. Think about how it is you're going to work your day, and you can really plan your day out and control it. So I try not to check emails after a certain time. I want to get them done in the morning. It's done then, because generally nowadays I think someone sending an email, it's a bit like post now. In the day, people, you could answer it there and then. There's some that might come in quite important, but I say most people send an email, they're not expecting an instant reply. We're in that mentality now. So if it's urgent, someone's going to call you. So just try and get things like that done first thing, and then you will find you're much, much more productive. But coming back onto this one, it's meditation, because being productive is really important. If you having that mindset, but meditate in the morning and then consume if you need to consume. And even regulate that.
I find that this practice of daily meditation first in the morning, before you get to do anything else, it actually does miracles for me. I can see the difference in myself when I meditate, when I don't. And for me, meditation is bringing balance to my inner world, which means it really limits the amount of negative self-talk that I practice. Because imagine if you wake up first in the morning and the first thing you do, you grab a phone and you check what is going on social media.
You've got no control what you're going to see.
No, you basically, you're just plugging into people's drama.
Yeah.
There's so many other things. You start reading emails, you start reading this and that, and what you do, you automatically start practicing stress, right? And overwhelm in your head. And this is how you're starting your day. This is how you're setting the tone for the day. So I decided that that's not something what I'm gonna do, because I need to take care of number one first. And I would sit down and I would just go within, and I would just check that everything is all right with myself, within myself, I will quiet my mind, because then I know that when I come out from this practice, I am more grounded. So whatever I am doing is, I am more responsive, not reactive. So my thinking is much clearer. I don't chase my own tail. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's much easier to pick the right action, the right tasks to do, because I am focused, and I'm focused on the right thing.
So many are in such a scarcity mindset, and they want answers now, and it's got to be done now, and I need this now. Everything's now, and having that abundant mindset is, look, this is how it's going to be, and you know it's going to happen. And yes, you still might be people in and around coming in that want to be the scarcity mindset, but that's down to you to set the boundaries, saying, well, that's going to happen, chill out, it's all okay, but doing it on your time, on your clock, not someone else's clock that is just stuck in that way. And they're not people they're people not to be working with anyway. So but yeah, I think getting the head straight, because I used to watch, one of my things, I'd get up, have breakfast, probably check my phone before I did all that, then put the TV on, having one of the morning shows on. I had to stop because it was just all ranting. And then I'd find that emotion coming over to me. It's like, oh no, I don't want this.
And this is another thing. I'm actually glad you mentioned this. People listen to news because they like something playing in the background. But what sort of message are you listening to? Is this a negative type of programming that is going in the background that you're gonna start observing and accepting as your own, and it will start playing out in your life? So that's why you see, well, I don't watch TV because I know that if I want to watch something that I am really interested in, I'll find it and I watch it. But I don't watch TV because I know what news does to brain. It's just brainwash, isn't it? And it's the same with social media. I go on social media when I have to now, okay? And I do what I need to do. But then again, the people who I'm following are people who are inspiring me, and obviously my friends, right?
But even that, with social media, especially Facebook, well, all of it, you can control what you're consuming. So if it's getting, sometimes I just don't follow people because I don't want to be seeing this stuff. I don't want to hurt their feelings.
No, we are becoming vibrational snobs. That's what it is. Well, but this is the reality. Whatever really you're allowing to your own world, will impact you one way or the other. So, do you want your life to improve? Do you want your life to be happy? If you do, then you have to become aware of those things. How they're impacting you, just every day. And then just select them. These I'm gonna be practice more of. These I'm gonna be practice less of, and these I'm gonna eliminate completely. But everything starts from within. So we can talk about just how things are impacting us from from the environment. But the inner environment is the most important environment. So the type of lingo we are using towards ourselves needs change. And that is changing when we become aware of what's going on inside. And I find that meditation helps me to become more aware of what's going on. Working on my mind, just connecting with my fellow coaches, working on the other parts of my mindset, just also helps me to grow more awareness of what is going on within me. So all of those things are having really positive impact, but they need what? Practice. You have to commit to it, because if you don't commit to change, you don't commit to feeling better about yourself, to improving yourself, then it's not going to happen. And it's going to be just like this habit that you had engraved in your mind, as a child, and you're going to be playing it, just day in and day out and day in and day out. And you're going to be blaming the whole world for the fact that nothing's changed. But you are the one who's making change. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. So
that's pretty much it. So it's been a good episode. So thank you for listening or watching, or however you consumed today's episode. As always, drop us a nice, well, you know what, if you got any other tips, drop them in and let us know how you get on these ones. Obviously, we're back next Monday.
Yes.
However, we are very active on TikTok at the moment, both of us individually, so you can follow us over there and get some great daily advice from each of us, both of us, and everyone else in the world that's doing that sort of stuff. Basically, you don't have to follow us. Don't follow us yet. Don't know. All good.
Brilliant.
Love, always.
Have a great week.
Make it great. It is great. It was great.
It was great, exactly.
It was great.
Ciao.